Good day everyone, welcome to Senior Pablo TV. And for today's tutorial video, we will be discussing the models in algebraic expressions. So we will be discussing 5 methods or 5 models. Let's start with the first one, the product of two binomials. So when we say product, means we're going to multiply. When we say binomial, composed of two terms. Let's have our first example. Let's say we have A plus B times C plus D. So, multiplying the two terms, so we have, multiplying the two binomials, we're going to use the FOIL method. So, we have F, O, I, L. To multiply that, the first term times the first term. First term times the first term. So we're going to multiply the first two terms. So A times C, that is AC. Next, the outer terms. So the outer terms are A and D. So we're going to multiply A times D. So plus AD. Plus the inner terms. So inner, we have B times C. So plus BC. And the last terms. The last terms are B times D. So plus BD. So if we have like terms, we can combine them. But in this case, we don't have similar terms or like terms, so this will be the answer. Next example is 2x plus 1 times 3x minus 2. Now let us use the FOIL method. So 2x times 3x, 2 times 3, that is 6. Now we have x times x will give us x squared. 2x times negative 2, that is our outer terms. So 2 times negative 2, that is negative 4x. Next, the inner terms. 1 times 3x, positive 3x. And the last terms, 1 times negative 2, negative 2. Now combine like terms. So in this case, we can combine negative 4x plus 3x. So just copy 6x squared. Now combine negative 4x plus 3x. That is negative 1x, or simply x. And then copy the constant, which is negative 2. Okay. That is the FOIL method. Now your turn. Can you answer number 3? Let's say we have 5x minus 3 times 2x plus 4. If you want to try number 3, pause the video. Then after answering, resume watching to check your answers. Okay, let's check your work. 5x times 2x. That is our first terms. That will give us 10 x squared. 5x times positive 4, that is positive 20x. Next, negative 3 times positive 2x, that is negative 6x. And negative 3 times positive 4, that is negative 12. Combine like terms. So notice that our like terms is located in our middle terms. So just copy 10x squared, 20x minus 6x, that is positive 14x, and copy the constant minus 12. Constant term. Okay. Did you get the same answer? Now our last example, number 4. What if we have 2m squared minus 4 times 10m cubed plus m squared? Okay. If you want to try number 4, pause the video. Then after answering, resume watching to check your answers. Okay, let's check number 4. So the first terms are 2m squared and 10m cubed. So multiplying, we have 2 times 10, 20. Now we have m. They have the same base, so just add the exponent. 2 plus 3, that is 5. Next, the outer terms. 2m squared times 10m squared is 2m squared times m squared, that is positive 2m. 2 plus 2, we have 4 as the exponent. Next, negative 4 times 10m cubed, negative 40m cubed. And negative 4 times positive m squared, negative 4m squared. Do we have like terms? None. So this will be our final answer. 20m raised to 5 plus 2m raised to 4 minus 40m cubed minus 4m squared. So that's on how to do the product of two binomials. Remember, we have the FOIL method. The first terms, the outer terms, the inner terms, and the last terms. We will continue our discussion in models in algebraic expression. This time we have the product of sum and difference of two terms. So make sure that you watch our first lesson, the product of two binomials. Notice in our topic, product of sum and difference of two terms. So sum and difference of two terms. Let's have the following examples. Number 1, quantity a plus b times quantity a minus b. So sum and difference of two terms. Number 2, 2m plus 3n times 2m minus 3n. We have the sum and the difference. So notice that we have the plus and minus sign. It can also be interchange. 2m minus 3n times 2m plus 3n. They are still the same. And number 4, 5x squared plus 7 times 5x squared minus 7. And number 4, fraction, 1/2 c plus 3 over 5d times 1/2 c. So let us write c here, minus 3 over 5d. So it can be also be interchange. It can be minus here, then plus on the other expression. Okay. Now, since this is a models, we can use or we can solve that mentally. So to solve mentally, let's just square the first term minus the square of the second term. Okay, this will be our shortcut. Square the first term minus the square of the second term. Now let us try in our first example. So square the first term, that is a. So notice that we have the same first terms, a and a. Minus, so a squared minus square the second term, which is b squared. So let us check using our FOIL method if we will come up with the same answer. So if we have a plus b times a minus b, using the FOIL method, a times a, that is a squared. A times negative b, that is negative ab. B times a, positive ab. And b times negative b squared. So a squared, negative ab plus ab, that will give us 0. Then minus b squared. Are they the same? Yes. So memorize our shortcut if you will encounter this kind of problem. Second example. So square the first term, 2 squared, that is 4. M squared minus square the second term, 3 squared, that is 9, and squared. This will be our product. Now, can you try number 3? If you want to try number 3, pause the video. Then after answering, resume watching to check your answer. Okay, let's check number 3. We square the first term, 5 squared, that is 25. X, so 2 times 2 as our exponent, or 2 plus 2, so 2 plus 2, that is 4. Minus, square the second term, 7 times 7, 49. Did you get the same answer? And for number 4, quantity 1/2 c minus 3 over 5d times quantity 1/2 c minus 3 over 5d. Shortcut, square the first term. So 1 squared is 1 over 2 squared, which is 4. Then we have variable c squared minus 3 squared, that is 9, over 5 squared, which is 5 times 5, 25. Then we have d squared. This will be the product. So this is the shortcut in finding the product of sum and difference of 2 terms. Square the first term minus the square of the second term. So first we study the given. If the 2 terms are similar but different in sign, so that is the sum and difference of 2 terms. The models in algebraic expression, in this time we have the square of a binomial. So we're now in our third lesson under these models in algebraic expressions. Notice that square of a binomial. In short, we have a binomial. Let's say our binomial is a plus b. The first and second term separated by the plus sign, then square. So if we're going to expand this, the equivalent of that is a plus b times a plus b. A plus b times a plus b. Now, getting the product, we use the FOIL method. So, square the first term, or a times a, that is a squared. Next, a times b, that is positive ab. Next, b times a, that is positive ab. And b times b, that is positive b squared. This is now the product. Then, combine like terms. A squared plus ab, that is 2ab. Then plus copy b squared. So, this is the final answer. So, notice that we can come up with our shortcut. So all we need to do is to square the first term, square the first term. Second, so we multiply A and B. So multiply the first term by the second term. Then times 2. Then times 2. And the third, square the second term. Square the second term. Okay. This will be our shortcut. So square the first term. Second, multiply the first term and the second term times 2. And the third, square the second term. So let us try here. So square the first term. That will give us a squared. Multiply the first by the second term. So AB times 2 plus 2AB. Square the second term plus B squared. Okay, let us try examples. So number 1, let's say we have 2C minus 2D raised to 2. Square the first term. 2 squared, that is 4. C squared, that is C raised to 2. Next, multiply the first and the second term. Okay. Or we can use this and. So multiply the first and the second term. That is 2C times negative 2D. That is negative 4CD times 2. So negative 8CD. Let us repeat. Multiply the first term and the second term. 2C times negative 2D, negative 4C times 2, negative 8CD. Then square the second term, so we have positive 4D squared. Why positive? If we're going to multiply negative times negative, that will give us positive. So 2 squared, that's 4, then D squared. Number 2, 5m plus 1 squared. Square the first term, that is 25m squared. Multiply the first term and the second term, that is 5m times 1, 5m times 2. So positive 10m. Then square the second term, 1 times 1 is positive 1. So notice in our sign, if we have a minus sign in our binomial, so our pattern is positive, negative, positive. We have a positive sign for the binomial. All our terms are positive. Now, can you try number 3? Let's say we have 3x minus 5y raised to 2. If you want to try number 3, pause the video and answer. After answering, resume watching to check your answers. Square the first term. That is 9x squared. Multiply the first term and the second term. Negative 15xy times 2. Negative 30xy. Then square the second term. Negative 5y times negative 5. Positive 25y squared. Did you get the same answer? Very good. And for our last example, let's say we have 1/3 k minus 2/5 h raised to 2. If you want to try number 4, pause the video. Then after answering, resume watching to check your answers. Now let's check. Square the first term. So 1 square, that is 1 over 3 square, that is 9. Variable is k. So k squared. Multiply the first term times the second term. So 1 times 2, 1 times 2, that is 2 times, so we have 2 over 3 times 5, 15. But don't forget to multiply it by 2. So we need to multiply that by 2 because we have times 2. So if we're going to simplify this, 2 will be cancelled out. So this will give us 1 over 15, and the variable is kh. Again, let us repeat. 1 times negative 2, that is negative 2 all over 3 times 5, that is 15. But we need to times 2. So times 2. So 2 will be cancelled out. So the remaining is 1. That's why we have 1 here. 1 over 15. So we have the variable kh. And square the last term. Positive 2 square, that is 4 over 5 square, 25. And for the variable h squared. This will be the final answer. So that is the square of a binomial. Square the first term, multiply the first and the second term times 2, and square the second term. Memorize this shortcut. And the importance of this is you're going to need this in your grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, and grade 12 for the pre-calculus. Thank you for watching Senior Pablo TV. We will continue the models in algebraic expressions. This time we have the cube of a binomial. So notice in our topic, cube of a binomial. So let's say we have a binomial, a plus b, then we're going to get the cube. If we are going to expand this, the equivalent of that is a plus b times a plus b times a plus b. 3. So we're going to get the product of that, then we can use the FOIL method. Or we can simply use the following steps. Step number 1, cube the first term of the binomial. Second, square the first term times the second term times 3. So we need to square the first term times the second term, then after getting the product, times 3. And for the third step, square the second term times the first term times 3. Okay. Square the second term times the first term times 3. And for the last term, cube the second. And now let us apply our shortcuts in our cube of a binomial. So let's have this example. So our answer must be cube the first term, so a cube. Next, square the first term. So we have a squared times the second term times 3. So we have 3a squared b. Square the first term times the second term times 3. Then next, Square the second term times the first term times 3. Positive 3ab squared. And last, cube the second term plus b cubed. So, notice to check your answer, our first term corresponds to its exponent. So, it is in the decreasing order. 3, 2, 1. Then we don't have a here. In b, so we don't have b, then b raised to 1, b raised to 2, and b raised to 3. In here, b raised to 0. Now, if we have a minus b cubed, so this is just the same like this one, but we're going to change the sign. So that will become a cubed minus 3a squared b plus 3ab squared plus minus b cubed. Our sign will be alternate. Positive, negative, positive, negative. Now, let us try this example. Let's say we have 2m plus 1 cubed. Cube the first term, that is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. Then we have m cubed. Next, square the first term. It's 2 squared times 1, that is 4 times 3, positive 12m squared. Then square the second term. 1 squared is 1 times this first term, which is 2, times 3. 2 times 3 is 6m. And cube the second term plus 1. This will be the product. Next, what if we have 5x minus 2y raised to 3? So 5 cubed, that is 5 times 5 times 5. 125x cubed. Next, this is minus, so our sign must be alternate. So minus, square the first term, that is 25 times 2, 50 times 3, 150. So we have x cubed here, therefore we have x squared. Then y raised to 1. Now for the sign, minus, next will be plus. Square the second term, so 2 squared 4 times 5, 20 times 3, so 60. Then for the exponent, so we have x, then y squared. Then last term, minus cube, 2 times 2 times 2, that is 8. Then we have y cubed. This will be the final answer. And now your turn. Kindly answer number 3. Let's say we have 4a squared minus 2b cubed. Okay. If you want to try number 3, pause the video. Then after answering, resume watching to check your answer. 4 cubed. 4 times 4 times 4, that is 64. So we have a power to a power, we need to multiply, so we have raised to 6. Minus, so alternate must be our sign. Square the first, so 4 squared times 2. So if you want, you can write now our exponent. So our exponent and the variable. So our next will be a raised to 4 y, a raised to 4b plus a squared b squared minus b cubed. Let us find the coefficient. So square the first term, 16 times 2, 16 times 2, 32 times 3. So times 3, 32 times 3, that is 96. So we have 96. We have the variable and exponent. Next, square the second term. 2 squared, 4 times 4, that is 16 times 3. So we have 48. And now cube, we have 2 cubed, which is 8. 2 times 2 times 2. And this will be the product. If we're going to expand quantity 4a squared minus 2b, close parenthesis, cube. That is on how to do the cube of a binomial. If you want to watch more exercises, please go to grade 8 playlist special products. Thank you for watching Senior Pablo TV.